Today's talk is called You Can't Hurry Love and You Can't Find God. You Can't Hurry Love was just kind of trying to be clever, actually, with the song title. But the real thing is you can't find God. May I see somebody's bulletin? Gabe, can I see that, please? What's the Butterworth quote? Because I have forgotten. And it says, the one thing that a fish can never find is water. And the one thing that man can never find is God. And we will put off knowing God, while looking for God. We will look and search everywhere but within for it. And it's like looking for air right now. Oh, if only I could find some air. If only I could find the floor. Gee, where did the floor go? I'm trying to find this floor. I wonder where the floor is. And that's our craziness in our spirituality. We will look for truth. We will look for love. We will search high and low for love. And it's here. It's there. It's everywhere. And we will use circumstances to tell ourselves that love is not here. And I have a couple of blessings to put out this week. Doug Kitchen's father is on his way to the next plane. He's probably going to go there today. And so we bless the Kitchen family. But this past Monday, there was a tribute, another tribute to David Friedman in the city. Why not? He writes beautiful stuff. But Rosemary Lohr, how many of you know Rosemary Lohr? Well, she called me. She was singing that day, and her husband has been very, very ill for the past couple of years. He's had stomach cancer. And she called me to say, I don't know how I'm going to sing this song for David tonight. And it's called I'll Be Here With You. And and there are lyrics there about when we grow old and what have you. She said, I don't know how I can do this with Bob the way he is. And I said, well, my first thought, I've always thought in the song in these terms, that it's actually God talking. That, no, I'll be there when the night grows cold. I'll be there no matter what. I'll be there with you. I said, so imagine, if you will, that God is speaking to you and to Bob through this. And that, and she came in, and she was one of the best performances I've ever seen her do. And she sang directly to David. It was so lovely. And Tuesday, she came to the class in the city, and she said, Bob's probably not going to be here by next week. He's ready to go. So I said, how about I come out to New Jersey tomorrow and pray with him? And I got there, and I had never seen anyone in his condition before who had no weight left. He had no weight. I had only seen photographs of people, but we had a great metaphysical talk, and he said, yeah, by next week I'm done. I'm just done. And that night, and we prayed. I said, Bob, you're allowed to go whenever you want. Something that did come out of it that I found interesting, his sister, when Rosemary called his sister to say, Bob's going to be leaving, she lives in Switzerland, and she dropped everything, said, I'll be there Friday. And he had no idea his sister loved him this much. He thought his sister didn't like him because of something 40 years ago. Just assumed. And we talked about that, and I said, so the only place this existed was in your mind. He said, oh, yeah, you're right. Isn't that nice? And my mother wants to come and see me. Well, that night he decided he was going to go the next day, and he did. So Thursday he left us, and I'm going to go out there this afternoon, and I'm going to do the service in their backyard. And it's all this searching we do through these circumstances to find the truth. Because, quite frankly, we can't afford an absence of love in all of this. We just can't. Is there anybody here who can afford an absence of love? Good. I'm glad to hear it. Because I'll tell you something. When you're not here on Sunday morning, I guarantee at least 90% of you think you can. When you're in traffic, somebody cuts you off, I'm willing to bet many of you think you can afford an absence of love. When you don't see as much money, when the numbers there aren't as many numbers in your wallet and your bank account as you'd like to see, you think you can afford an absence of love by having thoughts of absence, by having thoughts of lack. When somebody isn't kind to you, I'm willing to bet you might think you can afford an absence of love. When somebody misspeaks to you, when you don't get hired for the job you want, when you think of your childhood, you might think that you can afford an absence of love. Now, I'm willing to bet none of us have had those words. Oh, well, I can afford an absence of love in my thoughts right now. But now I hope you will think of those words when you begin to create a thought of the absence of love. Oh, I'm creating a thought of absence of love. And I think I can afford it. How do I know that? Because I'm entertaining it. I'm entertaining these thoughts. I've had many a drive where I've had to interrupt myself and say, Shawn, is this what you want to be true in your life? You know, where you're arguing with somebody and there's nobody else in the car. And is this what I want to be the truth? You know, in my relationship, do I really want to think that David is against me? No, I don't, quite frankly. The payoff is not what I would hope. When I start to entertain that he has anything against me, that he is less than 100% on my side or that I am less than 100% on his side. I can't afford to be against my parents, and they're long gone. Shocks me that next year's going to be 20 years since my mother left, and it feels like it was yesterday we had her funeral. And it's like, I can't afford to think that my mother was against me or my father was against me. And I sure can't afford to think that God is against me. And here's one of the issues. If I think my mother, my father, David, or one of you is against me, then I think God is against me. That's what I read last week. See, if I think that anything or anyone is against me, I think that God is against me, and suddenly I'm looking for God. I'm trying to find God in this. I'm trying to find God. I'm working so hard at finding God, I refuse to see God. I refuse to just experience God. Last night, Mark Vitale was here, and he sang a song of David's. And David wrote this song. Actually, he wrote it for Barbra Streisand. She didn't sing it. He wrote it for her wedding. But I see these words and I think of God. And there's one verse that says, in your eyes I finally see the light. I've waited all my life to find the kind of love I feel tonight. In your eyes I see that I am home. How could I not have known that all my dreams were waiting in your eyes? And if you'd have heard that note on Home that went last night, I was just transported by it. I will not be doing that today. But all. The big note is known. Oh, that's right. Not home, known. How could I not have known? How many bars was that? 4 bars. Slow. It was gorgeous. It was so beautiful. But if you want to hear the song, Alison Jair, Jaeer on YouTube, you can hear the song. She recorded it, or it's on videotape. But how could I not have known? How could I not have known that I was loved by God? How could I not have known that I was loved by God? How could I not have known that I was loved by God? How could I not have known that I was loved by God? That's the gift our friend Jesus gave us. He knew he was loved by God, and so he was not going to concern himself with who did not love him in appearance. Forgive them, they know not what they do. Forgive them, they know not what they do. There's so much going on in our world right now, and they say this is the most peaceful time ever in existence. Yeah, it's our narcissism that makes us think it's worse, because it seems to be happening to us. Read your Bible. Look at the violence in your Bible. Look at the violence when the human body meant nothing to so many. It's funny, who is it? Joshua fought the battle of Jericho and the walls came tumbling down. And I'll tell you something. Thank goodness we teach metaphysics. Because otherwise that Bible hero, it's a bloodbath. He goes into each town, and massacres town after town after town. Now, that did not happen in history. Joshua did not do all that. That's a whole bunch of wars put together with one person to make a story. Metaphysically, each of those towns represent a state of our limited thinking. That's what was being torn down, was a state of our limited thinking. If you want to understand all that, I suggest you get your Metaphysical Bible Dictionary. And you can look up each and every one of those towns and see what they mean metaphysically. You can even borrow, no, you can't take it out, but you can go look at it in the bookstore. We don't have our lending library here. But to look at that metaphysically, all violence in history, all towns, all cities, all persons, all bodies of water, all bodies of land, all represent something in our thinking. The Bible is a very personal book, and it represents every person in it is you. Every person in it is me. And so you look at all that, and you say, where is God in all this, though? You see, Job, the story of Job, that's not a history story. That's an allegory, the book of Job. And it's talking about the challenge to his faith. That when stuff happens here on earth, and he seems to lose everything that he valued here on earth, that he thought, fully believed was from God. All that good he thought was from God. And then, there's a test between God and the tempter. And let's see if he still loves you if we take it all away. Well, sure, go ahead. And it's all goes. And he begins to question his faith. He begins to question, well, is God good or am I good? Where is God in all this? How could this happen to me who has always believed, who has always had faith, who has always given credit to God? How could this happen to me? And then a New Testament comes along and we hear, do not lay up for yourself treasures on earth. Do not lay up for yourself treasures on earth that thieves can come in and steal, that moths and rust will eat away, that will disappear for any number of reasons. And here's the deal. The body is earth. The body is earth. Charles Fillmore in the Lord's Prayer says, "Is our trespass? Our Father which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come. Thy will is done in heaven as it is in earth." That's how he said it. As it is in earth. In heaven, which is the highest state of thinking, and in the body. Let them match. Because the Fillmores believe we did not have to get sick. But I'll tell you something. To treasure it as if it is a possession rather than something to be stewarded. And the body is to be stewarded by thought. My home is to be stewarded by thought. My relationships are to be stewarded by thought. And then I move my feet. But first thought. And the thought can't begin with, I better do this or I'm going to get hurt. I better do this or I'm going to lose. That's not the stewarding thought. The stewarding thought is, I am loved. Because there is no absence of love. I am wise because there is no absence of wisdom. I am joy-filled because there is no absence of joy. There is no absence of peace, so peace fills every cell of my body now. Those are your stewarding thoughts. There is only harmony, and it will work with, and I will not work, but I will witness harmony with a harmonizing thought. I will witness love with a loving thought. And it won't be about the conditions. It won't be about the state of the body. It won't be about the state of my home. It won't be about any of that. Because let's face it, an earthquake could come along right now. And so much of what we value in the world, a good fire, gone. It doesn't mean I'm not loved. It doesn't mean, and quite frankly, someone could walk in here, come up here, and kick my shins. And it does not mean I am not loved. Someone could come out. I could come out and kick your shins. Does that mean you're not loved? No, but you might question it. First of all, my sanity, and then my intention. Love simply is. It will heal so many moments for you, that thought. Love is. When I feel discouraged, love is. When I feel afraid, love is. When I'm confused, when I have confusion, love is. I don't know what love is, but I'm sure it's good. I'm sure it must be good. When someone you love, that you value so much in your life, is hurting, love still is. Don't feel sorry for them. Know the truth for them. When someone seems to be experiencing great pain, great loss, great discomfort, don't feel sorry for them. Know the truth for them. And the best way to know the truth for your brother, your sister, is to know it for yourself. See, you can't find God in any of this, but you can see God in it. Would that be okay? Would it be okay that you never have to look for God again? But that you can just know God is here, God is presence itself, and no matter what I think, no matter what I feel, I am loved, just because I can't not be. So I ask each of us now to open our eyes and see love. Not see nice, see love. To open our eyes. And trust me, so what you're looking at is love. Thank you. But look within and see love. Open your eyes to love. Open your mind to love. Open your heart to love. Open your body to love. Open your life to love. We are about to have another opus by David Friedman here. But it's really open to love. Just because it's the wise thing to do. And it will make your life, my life, and everybody's life better.